All right. Welcome back. I'm just waiting for the stream to start, but welcome back to the Open Studio Friday Open Studio design session. If you're new around here, these sessions are really intended to be kind of a working session, so ideally you'd be working on some sort of project, and I'll be working on my projects here during this stream. And you can just have it on in the background for, I don't know, just something to listen into, I guess. But this is also, acting as some sort of documentation for all the work that I do in this hobby, and also keeps me accountable so I can, keep on producing content and also prototypes. But yeah, welcome back. Just gonna get started with a couple of updates. Haven't really made too many modifications to the Astra M1 design. You can see here that this prototype has basically stayed the same since last time. And you'll notice that there is a little bit of a tape sticking up like that, but it's I'll have to fix that, I suppose. But yeah, there's just small details here and there that I really need to start and just go and fix. But that's taken a while because I am actually procrastinating a little bit, so I apologize for that. But it's kind of the nature of how I do creative work. I just kind of leave it alone for a while, and then I find the energy to come back to it, and I just go on and work on it, I guess. But yeah, it's just small things here and there. It's just these panels, they're kind of lifting off, right? So if you look here, as well, I guess I can show you from the top here. So this location is kind of coming off. It's kind of hard to really bend this down and tape it in place, but we're gonna try our best, I suppose. But that's not really the plan for today, though. Since these are very minor updates to the design, I just need to spend the time, hopefully this weekend when I have time, and just kind of fix these things up. So another, I guess, major problem that I've encountered right now, well, just like a series of issues, I suppose. With any prototype, you're gonna encounter these problems. Just in initial flight testing, it was just like tossing it onto a sofa or bed or something like that. It was a little bit roll unstable, so I do need to cut control surfaces, but I do want to also test it at higher speeds, because I know, like, at slow speeds your plane acts a little bit differently compared to when you're flying a little bit faster. And to be able to throw this thing a little bit faster, you need to be able to have like a good throw. And in the last stream, we spent some time to really design and develop a handle structure on the underside of this design. So if I just flip this over, you guys will see a kind of structure here. It kind of looks like a fin of some sort, but it's really a handle. Right, so this was designed and integrated and made last time, and it's supposed to act as kind of a handle, but when I flight tested indoors, of course, I still can't test outdoors because it's very wet and soggy and snowy. Even after the skies cleared up today, it's a nice day, but it's still really cold and wet outside, so I can't flight test anytime soon. This is kind of the issue here. It's just part of the design. It's just, the problem is that this handle is located a little bit below the center of gravity. So what that means is if you have your handle underneath your center of gravity and you're accelerating your aircraft, underneath your center of gravity, right? So you imagine holding it like this, right? And you're accelerating it forward like that. It does accelerate the plane. That is, what throwing does. It does accelerate your plane. But where this handle is located is also fairly important, because it's so much underneath. It's about like an inch, I would estimate, an inch underneath the CG. It actually creates a lot of torque, so you impart a lot of angular momentum to the aircraft when you toss it, right? When you throw it, and so that's not really good, because when you have angular momentum, your plane is gonna tend to want to pitch up, right? It's gonna want to flip over like that, and so if you throw it hard enough, it does do that. But actually, this design is very stable in stall, which is kind of what it's designed for, with the vertical stabilizers behind the main wings and the canard configuration. But what it does is it bleeds all the energy that I put into the throw into a stall. So it essentially goes really fast and then pitches up really, really sharply. And what happens with that is, your airflow separates, you lose all your energy. It acts, the whole plane, the whole aircraft acts as kind of an air brake of sorts, right? And it bleeds off that energy. So it's not very good for flight tests. So this handle, I don't know if it's gonna stay on in the final iteration of this design, in the final modifications after I change it up a little bit. But just going back to top view here, so I might actually just remove this handle altogether. And as sad as that may seem, we spent time on the last stream trying to make it and integrate it, but we'll probably have to remove it eventually, because it just doesn't allow for a good launch. So that's unfortunate, but I think I have a workaround. The workaround right now is not elegant. It's literally just holding it here right behind the canard structure here, right? So this trailing edge here, right behind that, this little flat area right here, and just throwing it like this. So I don't think we're gonna get the same amount of power in the throw. It's gonna be a little bit weaker, I would say, because it's just harder to throw it like this. But this, holding it here and imparting momentum at this location really drives the plane forward. It keeps the plane level in flight, and it doesn't rotate and bleed out energy like that. The only issue is clearance, right? You have to let go with your fingers really quick, right? So you basically have to, when you throw it, I'm holding it like this, right? Or pretend I'm holding it like this. And you have to let go really quick, or else your fingers are going to hit the main wing structure, which, it's a little bit cumbersome. That's why I wanted to build the handle. But the handle is causing this rotation problem since it's so far underneath the center of gravity. And that's kind of the issue that I ran into. So we'll have to see what we're going to do with that. But before that happens, I am probably going to have to just fix up little details here and there. I've been procrastinating a little bit, and I apologize for that. But just like little things, like just take the leading edge here, right? There's just a little bit of tape here that's separating off from the surface, and on the left, on the right side, on the right wing, starboard wing here, the tape piece is just coming off here, and it's just, I need to clean up these little details here and there. And after that's done, for flight testing purposes, I probably will tape the landing gear shut. Just like retract the landing gear in, and then tape the cover surface over onto the fuselage. And that's really to make sure that it doesn't pop out in flight, because if it does and it lands really hard, which it will, it's going to bend the paperclip landing gear out of shape. And these aren't really designed to handle crash loads. If you gently put it down, if you drop it from a reasonable height, this is like okay, right? So like if we look from the side here, if we look, if you drop it like this, it's actually able to bounce and absorb some of that impact, right? So it's kind of designed for that. It's not really designed for coming in hot, you're coming in super fast and then you just all of a sudden crash. That's really not what it's designed for. So I'm gonna have to tape the landing gear back in, tape it shut for flight testing purposes, and once it's in that configuration, I'll have to do a lot of tuning with the control surfaces and just overall tinker with it a little bit more. But I really need to do that off these streams because I can't really show you flight testing on these streams. Yeah, just reading some of the comments here. It looks good. Thanks. I appreciate it. Full Metal Gump says, usually put a hard point near the tail and put my thumb and middle finger on the sides and fling it using my pointer finger on the hard point. Yeah, I've thought about that. I've just kind of held it in place like that, so like kind of a tricycle configuration. But this plane is a little large to do that. I don't know. I'll have to figure out how to throw this, but it's gonna be an interesting time. I'm probably going to remove this handle anyways. It's just. Also, part of the reason I want to remove it is for aesthetic purposes. It just ruins the entire side profile. It's like so sleek. The bottom surface here tapers up, and this fin just absolutely ruins that. So I don't know. I'll have to make some changes to that. But otherwise, this prototype is looking pretty good. I think this is pretty much the place where I want it to be. And just the white balance is whack right now. It's like all over the place. I apologize. Yeah, it's like blue right now. Alright, that looks a little bit more normal. Sorry about that. But yeah, this is kind of final stages here. We really finished it off last time, and so today we're actually going to be working on I guess a rapid prototype. The next one, I guess, I think we're on the 5th one now. I think I've drawn up plans and alluded to this design in a previous live stream here. So this is what we're probably going to build, the RP005. Yeah, you guys can't really see. Sorry about that. I'm going to have to move the prototype out of the way so you guys can see the sketch. This is a very simple design, very straightforward. Hopefully I can finish it within 1 or 2 builds. So I don't have to, I don't know, just make it a super involved project. This is supposed to be rapid. Rapid prototype means, you got to get it done real quick, prove ideas, proof of concept for configurations, aircraft configurations. So this is kind of the general basic idea here. You want to have a kind of just main swept wing, no real elevator surface. It's kind of a flying wing, but you have these vertical stabilizers sticking off via booms, and potentially we can have winglets there to make it aerodynamic. But I'm not sure if I want to include winglets because those things are really difficult to tune. If you don't get it right, it messes up your yaw and everything. Yeah, it depends on size of the model. Sorry, I'm just reading like the comments there. But yeah, it's launching this M1 prototype for the Astra is gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a fun time. It's just yeah, I need to make some modifications before I can really, I guess, get it to fly. Just fix up a couple of things here and there, and also kind of weatherproof it. The surface right here, you'll notice, is not taped. This is just raw cardstock. I do need to reinforce this a little bit to make it a little bit more weatherproof. So in case there's moisture, it can handle that. So I do want to do that, but I'll have to do that this weekend off stream. I might film a video this weekend. I'm not sure. I have a lot of things to make videos for, but I'm kind of just falling behind there. So sorry about that. But yeah, today we're going to get started with this rapid prototype 005. 004 looks like this. I made it a while ago and I released a design video for it, but I just haven't really, I haven't really tuned it correctly. It can't really fly that well, so that's why I'm hesitant to make like a flight video. Also, the conditions outside are kind of not really nice for flight testing, but we'll see like what I can do for Rapid Prototype 004. I'm tempted to kind of just make a second Rapid Prototype 004 offline, because you guys have kind of seen the design process for 004, but for 005 I will probably do a live stream, and I'm probably gonna get started today with that. So 004 probably gonna be rebuilt for stability, reliability purposes. It's right now it kind of glides really nice. It has very nice kinematic properties, but it's just unstable due to the A tail being so low. It's not high up. Actually, let me try and find it real quick. I can show you guys on this live stream real quick here. Oh. Actually, let me just grab all my planes here. Alright, I have a whole bunch of planes here. These are the planes that I've made so far on these live streams. This is 004. As you can see, it's a little bit damaged from indoors flight testing. And what I was complaining about was this problem here with the vertical stabilizer being really low. It needs to be at least this high to make it actually stable in yaw. Either that, or you move the booms a little bit back to get more tail volume area. It's like a volume ratio. Like if you do the actual calculations, the farther back your boom is, the smaller the surface you need, and things like that. But just it's a basic concept. But this is not yaw stable, so I might have to remake 004 offline. In addition to fixing up the Astra. This is the X47 prototype that I made. This is pretty much flight ready. I do want to flight test this. This looks really good and it performs really well indoors. It's like very lifty and very floaty. This is probably going to be a really good flyer. I'll have to make a video for that. But right now there's still a lot of snow and moisture outside, so it's not an ideal time to flight test that aircraft. This is the F-16 that we worked on a while ago. This was in the summer of 2020, and I still haven't made a flight test video. Like, I am just like so behind on these things. But this plane actually has some major rework that I need to do. I'm probably going to rework the underneath the lower fuselage cross sections. The way we constructed this was we made cross sections and then you kind of just laid them out here and then skinned it. But this is looking a little bit chunky. It doesn't look in proportion, so that's why I want to rework this. This is definitely on a backlog. Like, I don't know when I'm gonna get this project done, but it looks okay. It looks all right, I suppose. Haven't done a real life aircraft in quite a long time, but this is a rebirth of sorts. Doesn't look great, but it is what it is. I'm just gonna put all these planes to the side. But that's a quick update on the state of the channel, I suppose. And so, I should actually probably write this down. I'll probably just make some notes to myself here, as some of these concepts and designs are located in this notebook, some of the graphic design work here too. But I do need to write down what I need to do. They're just notes for 3.5. Just rework gotta rework the RP004 F-16. That's a lot. Finish the M1 prototype, M1 Astra. This is like, there's a lot of stuff. It's just, I have to find the motivation and time to do it, and energy. That's the main concern. But yeah, I don't want to bore you guys in these streams. That's why I'm moving on right now with 005. So I think we're just going to get started now with 005. So this is the basic concept sketch. I have no idea the dimensions of this aircraft. I think I want to try building something bigger. So I have two rulers here. You'll notice that this one is in cm, this one is in cm and inches. I like to mix units if you're new around here. That's like one of my quirks. Would not recommend, but it's convenient for me. I think 8 inches, 9 inches, 8 to 10 inches is about the right size for this thing. But yeah, the way I have it proportioned, I think, just based on this concept sketch here, it's what, like 11 here. The wingspan is about 11. It's a little bit over. It's like 12. So it's about a 1-to-1 ratio. It's a little bit wider than it is long. But we're not gonna do this rounded shape because I don't think I can do that very well with paper. Benjamin Rogers says a rare sighting of the F-16. Yes, indeed, a rare sighting. That thing, just too much rework. I've lost some motivation in making that. But anyways, so I need some good material to build the fuselage out of. This is probably gonna be like kind of a scratch build situation here where I'm just gonna make and not think too much about design. This is a rapid prototype, so this is kind of where everything started. This whole channel started with kind of scratch builds, and then really the design part of it kind of really got into play with the Astra because it's kind of a marquee, flagship project. That's why I spent a lot of time on it. Let me get a very stiff cardboard base kind of material. I'm gonna get that real quick because that's kind of what we need to make this design here. All right, trying to find appropriate stock material for this. Sorry about that. All right, let's see here. Yeah, apologize for that. I haven't eaten a lot of cereal lately, so I don't have much material to cut into. But this is a prime candidate. This is just a Cheez-It box. I am not being sponsored by Cheez-It. They are a tasty snack, but I'm not sponsored. Again, just want to make that clear. But if someone out there does want to sponsor me, I would be happy to do so. Need to grab my heavy-duty scissors, which are here. These are IKEA scissors. You'll notice there's quite a difference between the two kinds of scissors. This is for heavier materials. We're going to cut this box to draw the base of the fuselage on. And we're going to try our best to not make the same mistakes that we did for Rapid Prototype 004. I don't think I will, because this design is a little bit more conventional. It's not as radical as 004. It's conventional in the sense that this tail is not an A tail, so there aren't a lot of stability issues with that. A tails are kind of difficult to work with, at least for me. I'm really bad at designing the mounting structure. I just need to learn how they do it for UAVs. They, do a really good job with those. It actually saves weight because it acts as both horizontal and vertical surfaces, but you just need a larger surface overall. The way it works is literally you take the projection, the horizontal or vertical projection of it, and then you just use that to calculate, I guess, but we're not doing any calculations here. This is just a pure scratch build here, rapid prototype. This is very much a rapid prototyping, skunkworks type of environment. You're doing something experimental without too much analysis. If it works based on first principles, then it's, by first principles I mean like just basic physics knowledge. You don't have to do like deep calculations for anything. This is literally just, I think this shape is gonna work, so I'm gonna make this shape, and then you make the shape, and then that's kind of just how you proceed with these things. At least that's how I proceed with scratch builds. So I don't think this is adequate. This is like, so unfortunately there is a lip here on this material. The white balance is so off today. I'm so sorry. This is like not okay. This is like so orange. Sorry, it's like wonky. It's like either green or blue or yellow, and it's like it doesn't look normal. I don't know why, but yeah, it's like true white is kind of hard to calibrate in this environment. So, sorry about that. But anyways, yeah, this is a lip here. Can't really use this, unfortunately, unless it's like gonna be used for a wing of some sort. But I don't like using cardstock for wings, or cardboard for wings, because it's a little heavy for the wing. The wings are usually better done with cardstock paper rather than cardboard. That's just a personal preference. You can definitely try. I would encourage experimentation, but just from my personal intuition and feeling, I think the only place I would use this material is for the fuselage. It's a very stable, very structurally reliable material, and it's very plentiful, and you're helping recycle, and it's good for the environment. So yeah, buy Cheez-Its, eat Cheez-Its, and make planes with the boxes. That's my advice for today. Sorry about that. This camera off to the side is shifting a little bit. Actually, this side camera has a better white balance, so I'm probably gonna use that for a while. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, I also bought a new ruler. This ruler cost me $5. It's kind of insane, but I really like it. It has 6 inches here on this side, and it has 152 millimeters on the other side. So it has both imperial and metric units. It's great. I love it. I thought it cost $2, which I was like, damn, that's a steal. I checked out, and it turned out it was $5. But I didn't really mind, because I got this ruler at a Micro Center, and they're actually, I think it might be expired now, but they were giving out 32 gigabyte USB drives and an SD card. So you got both for free if you signed up for their mailing list or something like that. Also, there's like very few Micro Center stores here in the US. It's like for electronics nerds. But anyways, yeah, I figured I had to buy something rather than just go in and say Gib. give me the storage. But anyways, off topic. Anyways, I am going to cut the fuselage base out of this material. Several comments here. So, have you considered making a box wing design? I'm not too thrilled with the whole idea of like a bi-wing or a box wing, but yeah, it might be something I can do in the future if people are interested. But I personally am not that invested in kind of dual wing structures. I know they're definitely a thing. I'll have to try and think of something that's a little special, right? I don't want to just build a biplane or anything like that. I want to create something new, right? And so I guess this is not exactly new, but this looks cool, and we need something for Rapid Prototype 005. So this is kind of what I'm doing here. You just see if 3M could sponsor you. Yeah, I mean, that could be a thing, because I use a lot of tape. Scotch tape, I believe, is made by 3M. Not sure, but don't quote me on that. If I'm wrong and I get sponsored by 3M in the future, I am so sorry. Like, I don't know. But that would be nice having a sponsor, but I don't know if I have a large enough viewer base to, I guess, justify that. But it'd be interesting if I do more projects and get a little bit more popular. I can try and reach up. They're the parent company of Scotch Tape. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Hey, hello, Nightmare Fuel. I wish is had a Micro Center. They're mostly Canada LTT fans would be familiar. In Canada, yeah, there's a couple in the United States. I don't know all the locations, but I go to the one in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I recently got a haircut there, and I don't know. This is like personal life stuff, but I apologize. Should probably get back to the prototype here. Again, this is kind of sketch, but we're gonna do our best here. How wide do we think this is gonna be? I don't know. If this is 8 inches, and based on this proportion, this is about 11.5 by, oh god, these numbers are so weird because I freehanded this and I didn't click it to a grid, so now it's a little tough to measure up. So this is 2.5, 11.5. What's the ratio there? It's like 1/4, I want to say. It's a little underneath 1/4. So if we go with 8 inches length, then 2 inches wide would be kind of where we're at. I don't know. But if it's 2 inches, then it's 2 inches. I think it's probably going to be less than that, but yeah, let's make the template real quick. So, with all my projects here, I do like to make templates. That's kind of just how I do things. So printer paper is easier to get your ideas across and prototype these sheet designs before you, I guess, commit to a thing. So I'm going to mark it at 3. I know I said 2, but you need to give yourself some margin for the design. So I'm going to 3 here. What I'm doing is I'm going to cut this paper, just partition it so that I can have a smaller piece. I don't have to look around this entire sheet of paper here. Alright, let's see if the white balance is a little bit better. I think the light from outside was messing around with... Oh, that is disgusting. That is yeah, I'm gonna mess around with something else here. I am so sorry. This is bad. I don't know what the right color is anymore. It all looks wrong to me. This is really bad. I am so sorry. Yeah, this is not good. Alright, I'm gonna switch to a different camera. See if that's better. Oh, that is so much better. That is the telephoto. And oh, that's the white. Okay, alright. That's the wide angle camera. I just had to switch to camera mode and fixed everything. Okay, this is a lot better. So I think I'm gonna stay with this for a while now. Yeah, this is a rapid prototype. I'm gonna try and see if I can finish this in one session, but I don't know if I can. I really don't know if I can, because you want to make something, you want to make it good. Why am I doing this? I have a cutting board is buried underneath so much other stuff. I don't want to use it. Nightmare Fuel says, I have a similar ruler. Yeah, it's a good ruler. I like good tools. They allow me to do great things. That's why I always get decent tools, at least. Alright, so that's that. What I really want to do with this is, I think this is like, what, 8.5 inches? So that's about the length that we need, because, you know, the standard letter size paper here is 8.5 by 11. But now what we can do is we can fold this in half so that we can mirror whatever, I guess, you know, geometry we have on one side to the other. Right, so kind of like that. Just gotta fold that. This is not the actual part. This is just a template to get the shape so that we can, you know, transfer it to the actual material there. Alright, this is the part that's fun. This is where you get to, you know, become a designer of sorts and determine the shape and everything. So from the looks of it, it's like half goes all the way. So we have like a main portion here, fuselage, right? And it's about half of the width of 2, so that's going to be 1 inch. And if it's 1 inch and we're dividing it by 2, that means we need to go out half an inch. Half an inch. Fortunately, this mat also has markings, this cutting mat that I'm using, so it's actually quite convenient in the sense that I can just quickly grab these measurements. And then, alright, I'm going to draw this, and this is just kind of a guiding line here. And then, this is a little bit cumbersome using this big ruler, that's why this small ruler exists here. Let's see, what is this? 4 inches we want, because our fuselage length is probably going to be 8, so 4 is half of that. And then just gotta move that point up to just mark where it kind of separates here. And then, so we're essentially trying to get the proportions right. And I realize that's like a hard concept to really learn, right? What is a good proportion? What looks good? that's a deep question. That's what design is all about, is trying different things, like configuring things in different ways to um, make it work. I believe we need another half an inch beyond this point. So that, and then that, and so this is kind of what we have here. This looks quite unnatural, I would say, this design, right? Because this is just a curve and it goes straight here, so not sure, we might actually go off that a little bit. It's okay to break these compositional rules every now and then. Just trying to figure out what to do here. Make the aircraft 8.5. That would be okay, I guess. So I want it to come out here. This is kind of difficult because it's hard to imagine what the final thing is going to look like. But we want it to be, what, 2 inches here? So if we mirror it, it looks different when it's, you know, kind of folded in half. So you kind of have to envision like how it's going to look when the full thing is complete here. That's pretty good. It's kind of wonky. Yeah, so this is just shaping the fuselage here. All you have to do is like rest your hand on one point, and you can use your just motion of your pencil like that to create a very large radius curve. So it's very smooth and it kind of works like that. Don't know. Let me try this. I think the chord of the wing, this is a little bit thick, but it's like generally doable, I guess. So just like create like multiple curves and just kind of, you know, go with the feel, I guess. Go with the flow. See what appeals to you. Usually a kind of shallower curve is a little bit better for aerodynamics. It's like a gradual change, right? Because air doesn't like abrupt changes. That's why very aerodynamic shapes are very continuous, very smooth, very there's like a thinness factor. It's like, I forgot what it exactly is called, but it's like yeah, the sleeker it is, there's like a fine, it's called fineness ratio, I think. Fineness ratio. So I recommend doing some research on that. It's quite an interesting concept here, so you're probably gonna do that. Actually, I do want this aircraft to have a little larger wing root than what we've traditionally had. I'm also sort of an airplane designer, just haven't gotten around to making the airplanes yet. Yeah, I would, it's one thing to be like a kind of like an artist of sorts. Like you draw airplanes a lot and you render model planes in computer programs, and that's all fine. Like I'm not like docking that or anything, but actually making something, like making a physical model is where you take that knowledge and you apply it. And that's where the exciting things happen, because in the real world you can see how your plane flies through the air, see how it interacts with its environment. And I think that's really what planes are supposed to be about. They're supposed to be for flying and not for, I guess, looking great and just being a display model. Not only that, it's a nice bonus, right? You want to have both, but it's very much, I'd say, like airplanes, architecture, just design of everyday products, they're all kind of linked in that sense, because they don't exist as a sculpture. They are meant to be used, and good designers know what the purpose of the airplane is for, and they're able to not only conceptualize it but also just actually build it, right? But of course it's different in industry, because no one person can actually build a whole airplane, so it's different there. But in a hobby setting, I think designing is you really should be making also. It's kind of, they kind of are inseparable, the two processes, right? So yeah, sorry, that was kind of like a little rant there, but I do encourage you guys to make things. It really is like kind of interesting, because I got started with drawing, right? Being able to like shape things and adjust things visually is the first step. Like you're able to adjust shapes in 2D, right, via drawing. And that's what really sets the shape for 3D objects, right? And that's kind of how you get started. You go back, way back on my channel, the first paper airplanes that I made were pretty much just I would say just paper airplanes, like schoolyard dart paper airplanes with little wing extensions attached to them. And it's grown a lot since then. It's evolved a lot since then, to the point where we're custom designing fuselages now and then building a custom made aircraft, right? It's like a glider of sorts. It's kind of a heavy glider, more involved design for a glider, but that's the basic idea here. But yeah, it's definitely interesting for sure. Just get your hands going, making something. That's where you learn a lot of things, right? So I definitely encourage that. Nothing teaches like experience and actual hands-on experience. So this is a little bit off topic, but MIT, the university institution, their kind of motto for how they teach is mind and hand, right? So it's like, of course, it's put in Latin to make it sound all fancy and stuff, but their whole gist is hand and mind, right? You can't just theoretically design the perfect airplane without, you should really try and make that thing into reality, either 3D printing, or that's a very hands-off approach, I would say. But the old school way of drawing and then drafting and cutting out parts, that's kind of where I'm at right now, but I don't know. I'm just like kind of ranting at this point. This chord right here, this wing root here is 2 inches, I believe. And this is kind of ahead of that, this little fillet area. But this general shape here is, this curve is at the 1/2 mark, half of 8 inches. This is 2, so this is what, 6 inches here. Actually, this is 8.5. So again, the numbers aren't, they don't have to be exact. It's really kind of an art, right? At least when you're making planes for a hobby, I would really prefer you do the calculations if you're making planes that people are going to be on, or if you're making like a UAV or any real life aircraft. You should probably do calculations. But for hobby aircraft, things are a little bit different. So you just kind of go by feel here. One of the things you'll know is that this is kind of a inflection point. So an inflection point is interesting. This gets a little bit deep, but bear with me here. If you have a curve on a graph, right? An inflection point is where you stop turning in one direction, right? So you're right here, like if you imagine this curve, right? So you're going up, but you're decelerating, right? You're going flat. And then from here to here, you're accelerating again. So this point right here in the middle, that's called an inflection point. So it's an interesting point. If you calculate, if you took any like calculus classes or advanced math classes, they teach you about derivatives, and that point is where the derivative is essentially, at least the second derivative is like at a maximum, right? So your acceleration here is, well, your derivative. I'm just like kind of losing my train of thought, but I was going somewhere with that. You want to make it smooth. That's my takeaway here, but God, it's been such a long time since I've actually thought about it, but just making things smooth is what I'm good at. Just so this point right here, instead of having it be perfectly flat, I've kind of melded the curvatures together a little bit better, I think. So notice that this is like kind of going in the same direction as that, right? Roughly parallel, but still different. It's not like a stealth aircraft where everything is straight edge parallel. It has to be that way. But this is kind of fluid. Alright. And alright. We need to get the wings. And the wings are going to be interesting. Wings are a critical part of an airplane. Fun fact, if you did not know that, now you know. My sense of humor is just trash. I apologize. Yeah, so this is probably what we want. The reason I'm designing this is I actually made a prototype like this in college, but that was a while ago. It flew really well. That's why I kind of want to revisit it right now. Sorry, that was just kind of out of nowhere. But I think this is the general shape that we want, and if we're good with this, then we can just start cutting it. This is kind of what we want to do. I realize I'm cutting off the design path a little bit, but that's okay. Oh my goodness, why is there... There's like some sort of oil on this. That's weird. Anyways. Yeah, it's like red. Not sure. Yeah, you see that little stain right there. I don't know where that's coming from. But anyways, rapid prototype. We gotta be fast with this without sacrificing too much quality. Yay! We cut it. Nice. That's kind of what it looks like right now. It's not done yet, but I'll have to make that wing that comes back here. It's a little bit small compared to what I'm used to, but I don't know. Maybe it'll be okay. So, I want to make the wings now. How do we do that? Also, will this actually fit? I don't think this will. This is the piece that we said we would not use, but I'm just curious if it could. No, we cannot. I was right. Anyways, let's cut this. We're about an hour into our stream already. That's crazy. Put this at the corner here. It's okay if the tail goes missing. This little bit there, it's not critical. And again, this is a rapid prototype, so I don't expect perfection. That's really weird hearing that from my own mouth, because I'm generally a bit of a perfectionist of sorts. But I don't know. Here we go. Let's try that. And then, ooh, that's a nice smooth curve. Wow. And then this goes there, and it comes forward like that. All right, cool. You just trace the shape onto cardstock, or not cardstock, cardboard. I'm not really sure what to call this. This is like kind of a cardboard, but cardstock. I don't know. It's kind of both. It's a heavy duty thing. Oof. It's not perfect. This stuff is hard to cut. Anyways, it's a rough prototype. It's a rough prototype. I'm gonna try and cut on the line, but no guarantees. It's hard to precisely cut this material. With a laser cutter, with something that's machine controlled, it might be better, but this is just hard to cut through with scissors anyway. I am going to cut this off really quick. It's gonna make this a little bit easier to work with. go. I'm gonna cut that end off there too, because it's a little nub. Nice. All right. What am I gonna do? Yeah, well, this thing is a little bit floppy, so I'm probably gonna stiffen it up a little bit. Just grab a popsicle stick or two. This one's a little bent. But no matter. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna do it. I think we might want two more here. It's gonna be a very strong structure. But I guess we also need to design the wings. It's like kind of a pretty important part. I think we're gonna do that next. And this is kind of hand wavy. Just kind of looking at this real quick. I don't know. Is that enough wing area? Seems very small for a plane of this size. So I kind of want to give it wings that come out from here. These wings are a little bit stubby. That's wild. Oh my goodness. That's a little too much. Something like that, just to get a rough feeling of what it's going to potentially look like. Okay, that's an interesting idea. Let's do that. I noticed that this wingtip looks a little funky. I'm trying to keep the shape that we have on the Astra. It's kind of like a preliminary test, even though that plane is almost complete. I do want to see how it flies on a different platform. That's why I'm kind of replicating that shape here. This plane will probably have 0 mechanisms. By probably, I mean definitely, because that definitely complicates things. Makes things a little bit too difficult, or too tedious. Not difficult, it's not hard, it just takes a lot of time. And I'll do that. And make sure the trailing edges very crisp as well. Interesting design. Just kind of going with the flow here. I don't know if we have enough room on the other side here to potentially mirror it, but we're gonna try. This is just a template. Notice that this wing was designed very quickly. This is probably not going to be the case when I do a actual flagship project, but for rapid prototype, this is acceptable. So you have to kind of make these decisions for yourself, like what is an acceptable level of effort, to put it shortly, I guess. This is a little bit difficult to grasp, so I'm going to use this Muji ruler here. Okay, that's good. And just gonna do that. Okay, well, okay, we have enough space here on this side. That's good. Just gonna trace the mirror shape of this object. See, on the computer, this would just be a simple copy and paste and flip operation, but in real life, you have to be clever about how to get the same geometry on the other side. Use a fold. pretty clean design. I was gonna say clean sheet design, and then I realized it is a clean sheet design. We're designing it from scratch. So let's call it scratch build. There we go. Just gonna cut a straight line here. That's not perfect. Just trying to fix some of the imperfections there. Okay. Looks good. Oh, dropped that. To prevent me from cutting this part, I'm going to draw this line here as well. This middle part here is really to act as an anchor to the fuselage. I don't know how else to put it. That's what it's for. There we go. Connect the dots. Yay. Done. A simple thing. Simple geometries like that. And this kind of just, we're gonna make two of these that kind of fit right here. Of course, we're gonna put spars inside. I'm just gonna see how this does, I guess. We could do that. Put the spar there and then fold it over. I don't know, something like that. Alright, 1 hour 15 minutes. We've got an hour left, less than an hour left. We'll see how much progress we can make today. I doubt we're gonna finish it, but definitely gonna make some good progress here. Should probably make the actual wings, which is interesting. I need to find a part, or find the materials, rather. Some leftovers from the M1 project. Alright. White or gray? I think I'm gonna go with gray, because I have a lot of gray. Trying to maximize use of material without creating too much waste. But unfortunately, it looks like this design is just gonna take up a lot of space. Just sometimes the way it is. Yeah, I don't think there's any way around it, unfortunately. Can't get two pieces out of this material. That sucks. Alright, let's see here. Let's decide a little more. Alright, that looks decent. I'm gonna get at least one wing out of this side. Out of this piece, rather. That's kind of where it is. Here, that's the midline. And I'm gonna need another gray piece. So grab it real quick. Tripod was in the way. Alright, got another piece here. That's good. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to cut this. That's one wing done. I'm gonna save the scrap, probably for a vertical stabilizer or something. Don't want to waste that. But get the second part here done real quick. Let's actually do that. Move this in a little bit so you guys can see it better. Alright, that's good. And just gotta cut this one out also. Just kind of looking at the spars here. The wing spar has to be pretty straight. No, it's not going to do. I'll have to pick out another one here. These two are pretty straight. That's good. Sorry, you guys can't really see this, but it's basically the same idea. We're cutting this template. It's been traced out. piece to cut. Luckily, this piece will free it. This cut will free it. There we go. Put that strap to the side. There we go. Halfway line done. This $5 ruler that I mentioned here, this is really better for drawing and drafting than actually manufacturing. I don't know. Alright, just gonna fold this now. That's a straight fold. That's nice. That's crisp. It's gonna cut through air so well. My goodness. Looks pretty good. Okay, gotta do the same thing to the other side. Yeah, I miss these days, honestly. These are the days that kind of rekindle my interest in designing and building these gliders. It's refreshing to not have to be like constantly worrying about, is this good enough, because because it's like a flagship project, right? Because a flagship project is nice, it is very rewarding, but it takes a long time to develop and design and prototype, as you have seen in the last couple months with the M1 Astra. Has taken a very long time to develop, and yeah, the results are about the same. It's just like marginally better in quality and thoughtfulness compared to a rapid prototype. The appeal of a rapid prototype is that you can kind of improvise a little bit. You can, do things a little bit more relaxed, right? And it's like you can freeform, try out ideas, fail. You give yourself permission to fail in a sense, and you don't really get that with like a flagship project like the YX10. That's pretty much why, in a nutshell, that I have allowed myself to start this series of prototypes, RP00X or 00 or 0x0 eventually when we get to 10. But the idea is to break free from that pressure to really create something that's like meticulously designed and crafted. And this is like a little bit more improvisational, right? So this is like, okay, well, I think this part is a little bit too big. We can do this to fix it, etc. It's really more like a scratch build, kind of similar to RC designs out there. But that's kind of the idea behind these again. So, yeah, so we have the two wings done. We have two spars here. I think the next step would be to maybe just, I don't know, just like attach this to the fuselage through some means, but I need to like draw a center line down this thing. I don't really know where the center is, And this is going to be a little bit tough. That's why I'm going to use Sharpie here. Ultrafine Sharpie. Oh, that's leaking all over the place. That's not good. But yeah, oh, that's not good. Drew on my cutting mat, but I guess it's not meant to be pristine forever. The back end here is approximately, this is like what, half an inch I want to say. So if we want 1/2, you know, yeah, that's the other thing. It's kind of hard to see. It's kind of hard to measure here. So that's about the middle right there. And we are going to draw a midline here. All the way down. So this is very delicate procedure. I want to draw on the ruler, but so Sharpies are good for surfaces that are not very grippy for graphite pencil lead. But hey, we have a middle now. That's good. Also want to kind of align this so that the back end here is covering that cardboard. Front end here is okay. So we might have to make some adjustments here. That's a little bit annoying, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world. That's why we make templates, because templates keep track of the shape, the exact shape that you designed from. Which for me, it's under a whole bunch of paper. Okay, so this is what we have. It's a little bit wide. At a certain location. Let's say like what? No, that would be a forward sloped aircraft. I'm not building that. Yeah. I can like slice that in a little bit. I suppose this is where the improvisational nature of this hobby, or of this approach, is nice, because you can just simply modify things without too much worry. You're like, oh, this part doesn't fit. We need to cut in a little bit more. Make that fillet a little bit larger radius. And you can give yourself the freedom to do so without feeling too bad. Okay, so we do have to translate these changes from the template to the actual part here. And that's where some of the friction may occur. Friction in the sense that, okay, well, things disagree with each other now. But that looks good for the most part here. So I'm just using the small scissors because it's a little bit more precise than the large scissors. I don't like to use the small scissors for these types of cuts for long, because it kind of dulls the blade a little bit. As for this side, I'm cutting the other way around because it's just easier to align the cut this way. Also, you need a lot more force with the smaller scissors to cut it compared to the large scissors that I used before. Here we go. Put that to the side. Get these scraps out of the way. All right, good to go. Now the wing should be able to fit nicely without interfering, I want to say. So like if you align this geometry perfectly on the back side here. Oh my goodness, it's still a little bit it's still a little bit wide here. That's not great. But I guess, you know, like, okay, instead of modifying that, we could modify this backside here. Well, we can modify the actual wing itself instead of changing the fuselage too much. And, oh, ow, that hurts. Just cut my nails today, and my nails are really short. Sorry, that was like TMI, but God, it kind of like hurts. Maybe cut it a little too far. Rip. There we go. There we go. First piece of tape on this aircraft to secure the main wing's surface to the underside via the center line here. And we're going to do the same thing for the other side. Just try our best to mirror everything. That's the thing with like 3D CAD, you could just like hit mirror and the part is just like perfectly mirrored. But in real life, it's not like that. It's gonna be a little different. That's why I do want to eventually leverage 3D printing. It's just I'm slowly but surely getting there. So instead of time spent in the physical prototyping phase, it's time spent in modeling, which I might do eventually because I can live stream from my desktop. Kind of just go through that. It's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. This is a rapid prototype anyways. Okay. This is where the trouble comes in. We need to be able to fold at that location. And we're not able to. So we need to make slight adjustment cuts here. Ugh, what is that? Anyways. Yikes. Alright, here we go. I'm just gonna trim this real quick. There we go. Alright, so now you should be able to fold this over. Kind of. Yeah. Alright, so that's better. And this side is also better. It's kind of tight here at the leading edge, but that's okay. It's not too big of an issue. And this is a rapid prototype. And for rapid prototypes, we just want to make a lot of progress really quickly. At 1 hour 43 minutes, so we've got about, I want to say maybe 30 minutes left. But if we don't finish today, we'll definitely continue this next time. I have enough things to do over the weekend outside of these streams. Filming videos and making repairs, doing some rework. So. There we go. So you tape that down. That's very quick, very fast. Got things done. Do the same thing for the other side here. Alright. But it still has to be like a decent quality. This is like where I feel like kind of like a chef of sorts. Kind of just like, you know, like good chefs and good restaurants, they're rushing all the time to make very tasty food, but also pump out a lot of food. kind of how I generally want to orient the spar. Not sure. Just trying to figure out what's going to work the best. Yeah, I don't know. This is like, what are we gonna do? Where you place this spar is kind of important because it kind of changes the cross-sectional profile of the wing, which therefore changes the flight characteristics. So you want to be careful where you place it. Also, me being me, I'm a perfectionist, so this is what this is. 1.15 perpendicular off the leading edge. This is pretty much perpendicular. 0.15 off the leading edge there. Okay, so we're gonna extend a line there. That's kind of what we want. Just want to make sure, verify that this is 1 point. What is that? Oh, it's like, okay, it's not 1.15, it's 0.65. There we go. 0.65. That's about right. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's the line along which we will place the spars. So should probably mark the middle here. Also get a center line going. This is what, 1.2 centimeters, so 1.6. There we go. That's about right. Just click it to the middle there. That means this outer portion is probably going to be not that reinforced, unfortunately, but that allows us to be able to fold it down maybe, which could have some interesting stability effects. But I think this is what we're going to go with. We're just going to stick to it. Yeah. we go. 2 points determine a line, if they're not coincident, of course. But I do need a tape down here, at least one in the middle, to prevent the surface from buckling above the spar. Just really crush that adhesive in for this side. And do the same. Right. Similar idea. The outboard here. Press it in like that. Looks good. Middle piece right here. Looks good. It's a very thin profile wing, which is very good. That's kind of what we're aiming for. For this plane, I will do a, whatchamacallit, kind of loop tape so I can secure the top side, prevent it from kind of separating here. I don't know if I'm going to do it here or on top of the spar. I feel like behind it would make more sense because it's a little bit thinner. This nose looks a little bit skinny here. Probably be a little wider, but I don't know. I could just simply do that, I guess. I'll let it be. I don't know, but just clean this off real quick. I think this should do the trick for the most part. So I'm going to do that. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do about this. This looks a little bit too skinny, given the size of the wing. So I might have to improvise, build outwards a little bit. But I think that's a topic for next time. This time, for today, probably just gonna seal this up here. Potentially loft this maybe. Don't know. Probably do this first and then loft. Yeah, that makes more sense. Okay, so I'm gonna get a length of tape here. A little bit extra, but hopefully this will work. Over very securely. Wrap that tape around, seal up the trim edge here. Such a sharp trailing edge. It's gonna be great for aerodynamics. Look at that. So sharp. Take down this little portion here, or I guess this aft portion here first. Okay, just do that. And secure it. Simple. So I get a length of tape for the center here. Okay, I just gotta do the same thing for this side. There we go. Do the same thing. And crush this. Half on, half off. crush it in. That's a very sharp trailing edge. That's what we're aiming for. And this can just get cut off easily. The inner trailing edge here. What's next? Same approach. Half on, half off. Flip over. Tightly tape it down. Provides a nice sealed edge there. And then the middle portion here. Like that. Secure like that, and push it in. Again, like that. Yeah, you have your main wing and fuselage integrated into a decently strong structure. And I guess the next steps would be to build the fuselage. But that's going to be a little bit challenging right now because, well, we're trying to widen the nose a little bit before we continue, because right now it looks a little strange. And then again, we can like build fairings here, like thicken this area up, give it like little extra chine here. So it's not too difficult, I would say. It's just another consideration to make. But in order to do that, we should probably be done with the fuselage lofting and paneling first. And then once there's a structure, once there's a 3D structure here, you can probably do like a chine that connects this together. Thicken up the neck here a little bit. It's kind of like the neck of the aircraft. Right, and that'll make it look a little better. So, yeah, we're at like 2 hours, 3 minutes here. So I don't know, it's got some comments here. Aircraft can have a handle on which to throw them, but they don't need a handle in order to fly. Okay, I guess. Yeah. Benjamin Rogers says, looks much sleeker than 004. Yeah, 004, it was really kind of an experimental forward swept A-tail configuration. Actually, it was inspired from one of your old prototypes, Ben Rogers. I remember seeing one of your old prototypes. I was like, why hasn't anybody done that? And then I did it and then flight tested it, and it wasn't that great of a performer. That's why I'm probably going to have to redo 004. Just, outside of these streams, but I don't know. It's something to think about, that is for sure. Sorry, just moved the thing there. Yeah, the tripod is kind of in the way, so I can't really get a straw. You could just, I guess, loft with purely popsicle sticks for this design, but that would make it really heavy. I'm not sure if that's what we want, but we could as an experiment. It's definitely possible. I just don't see like how. I don't know. I don't have like a side profile sketch of this thing yet. Might do that, not sure. But this is looking very sleek right now. Leading edge is very sharp, trailing edge is very sharp. So this is going to be a very low drag aircraft, I want to say. Because the thicker your wing profile, the more lift you generate, but also the more drag. This is probably going to be some sort of high-speed flight aircraft. vertical stabilizer sticking out the back like that. Right. And yeah, definitely need a chine here to smooth things out, but otherwise, I mean, this looks quite new. It's like same configuration as the Astra, but it's like less bulky, I would say. Right, the fuselage is so much slimmer, but we're going to add some chines to make it a little bit more thick in this region here. So before I get into like the next step here of, just building up the fuselage to make it look kind of like this, make it look 3D. Probably just gonna stop here for today, but definitely need to plan out in the future what to do for the side profile. I have a rough idea. We probably will have to reinforce this nose because it's so long. It'd be probably nice to reinforce it with really stiff materials on both the top and the bottom. That ways we can build an extremely stiff and rigid airframe that would look quite nice. I don't know. Just trying to build something really quick and make it look decent is all. Probably do that, and then on the back side also, mount a popsicle stick like that. Dual stiffening structures like that, and then maybe a thin diameter straw on top to like smooth things out. This isn't meant to be like a display model, so I'm not too concerned about aesthetics, but we do need some sort of thickness in the middle to make it look a little bit better. So yeah, I think that's kind of the plan going forward. Definitely need to stiffen up the nose for sure, because this is going to be flight tested to heck. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for today. Next time I'm just gonna continue where I left off here and build up the fuselage, build some fairings, build the vertical stabilizer. It's a very quick build. It's a very simple build, so hopefully it should be finished pretty soon. As for the Astra, this is kind of the frontline, like marquee project of mine. This is like the I don't want to say masterpiece. It's not a masterpiece, but it's like the flagship project, and I will be spending some time this weekend to just fix up just little details like this tape coming up, and I'm probably going to remove this handle on the bottom because it's causing too much of a pitch moment when you launch. Aircraft tilts up and bleeds out all the energy in the launch, so I'm probably going to throw it from here, hold it here, and then throw it, just like launch it like that. But we'll see what to do with that. This is looking quite nice. This is almost finished, but still a little bit more to go, which I will not do on the stream. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Next time I will be working on this, building up the center fuselage, building up some fairings, building in the vertical stabilizers, and then should be calling it a day for Rapid Prototype 005. It's a very simple design. Hopefully it won't take too long, maybe next stream or the stream after, and that's pretty much it for this design. But yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate the support. Stay safe, stay healthy, keep on working on your own projects, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments if you're watching this at a later time, or just feel free to reach out to my personal account on Instagram. All the links to the socials are below. So yeah, thanks for watching, and talk to you guys next time.